Welcome to Push to Pass podcast with JP Murray, a discussion about business, racing, sports, and life. This podcast delivers insights on what makes businesses, teams, and people successful based on real-life business experiences. Following a career with America's largest associations, JP Murray founded the Murray Company, one of Washington, D.C.'s most successful consulting firms. The company was acquired successfully and enabled him to launch JP Murray Racing, a business development and sponsorship agency for auto racing teams. Here is JP.
Welcome to a special episode of the Push to Pass podcast. I'm JP Murray. Today I want to talk about a topic that I am very passionate about. The Indianapolis 500-mile race, the world's largest single-day sporting event. The reason why I'm going to talk to you about is not just because of the race itself, but the business lessons that I've learned by watching it and being a part of it in a very small way. It's a race full of excitement, drama, suspense, history, tradition, Memorial Day weekend. Oh my goodness, back home again in Indiana. 400,000 people in the stands. As a child, I began listening to the 500 on the radio. And by the way, it's the greatest radio broadcast in sports. I started attending in the mid-'80s. I think I've been to about 15 of these at some point. So it meant a lot to me, my family, my friends that I brought along the way. I've enjoyed that part of it too. But the Indy 500 is also a lot like business. The first thing we can learn from the 500 is that speed wins. And folks, if you can't go 230 miles an hour or close to it, you're not even going to make the show. 33 cars, 3 wide, 11 rows. And in business, it's just like racing. The faster you can move, the more successful you'll be. I think you've got to be able to be nimble, quick, and very fast to be successful. Of course, speed isn't the only thing that matters. Got to be reliable, you've got to be efficient, and some other things. But just to be a player, you got to be fast. Second, reliability to finish. The second thing we can learn from the 500 is that the fastest car doesn't always win. It's just as important to be reliable. And in business, just like racing, it's not enough to be fast. You got to be able to finish what you start. In business, there are so many things, projects, people, strategies that begin with a lot of promise, but they never seem to be able to finish what they start. They either run out of money, they get distracted by something else. They're just good and enthusiastic at the beginning, but they're not going to be able to finish at the end of 500 miles. So if you want to be successful in business, you need to be able to finish what you start and be reliable. The third thing I want to chat about is managing resources. You can learn from the Indy 500 that you've got to manage resources. And in business, just like this racing comparison, you're going to have some limitations to resources. You have limited time, limited money, limited people, limited budgets. You need to be able to manage these resources wisely and with strategy. Think about it. Tires, fuel, when to pit, botched allocation of these resources, and the strategy means that if you don't do this right and you're faster than everyone else on the track, it may not be enough. So you need to make sure that we're not wasting resources on things that are important. I'll give you an example on the pit stop. Pit stop is around 8 seconds. The car travels a football field every second. So the more time you spend in the pit, and let's say you bobble something and it's 1 to 2 more seconds, that is literally hundreds of yards on the racetrack that you may never get back. So if you want to be successful in business, you got to be able to manage your resources effectively. Even some of the things that people don't think are a primary reason to be successful. Some of these secondary factors can be so important. You need to be able to make tough decisions about how to allocate those resources as well. The fourth thing that we can learn from the 500 is that teamwork's essential. In business, just like racing, you can't do it alone. Man, I've learned this more than anything over the last 5 years. You need a team of people working together towards a common goal. You want to be successful in business, you know you've got to have a team. We spend a lot of time in racing on the driver. We spend a lot of time in business on the leader or the CEO. But I'm telling you this, if the team behind it is not strong, even the best at the top of the org chart, if you will, can't implement their mission, can't keep people motivated, they're not going to win the race at the end. Sustainability, the ability to get up and go again after the Indianapolis 500 and all this attention. Guess what? The series packs up and it does it again. Next Sunday, you're going to be in the streets of Detroit running another race. You got to pack up everything and go. So I'm left with, this isn't the only race. Is it iconic? Yes. Does it have worldwide attention? Absolutely. 33 drivers, 500 miles, only one wins. But there is a next opportunity. So if you don't land the big account, if you are the second choice, all those things you've learned about speed, teamwork, resources that you learned in the big race can be helpful in the next presentation, the next opportunity. They're going to serve you well. So in conclusion, the 500 is a race full of excitement, drama, suspense, and tradition, as I mentioned, but it teaches us a lot about a business. You want to be successful in business? Learn a little bit from the greatest spectacle in racing. I hope you have a fantastic summer, upcoming holiday season, and I hope you'll join me for the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indy 500, and learn something from it. Thanks for listening to the Push to Pass podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Push to Pass podcast with JP Murray, a discussion about business, racing, sports, and life. If you would like to sponsor Push to Pass, send an email to jp@jpmurray.com. Follow JP on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. His website is jpmurray.com. Until next time, push yourself to pass the competition. Thanks for listening.